Hi everyone, this is Kamal. Welcome to my channel Understand Tech here. Programming is not complete without array. This video will give you a solid foundation on array. What's an array, how to declare and use it, and more importantly, how can you use it with loops. I have been teaching C programming for many years and I'm pretty sure you will greatly benefit from this video. So without further ado, let's start. Before we can discuss array, you need to clearly understand what happens when you declare variables. This is a very basic concept usually taught at the beginning of programming. Nevertheless, let's quickly recap the main points. Remember, RAM stands for Random Access Memory. Probably you already know all open documents and data that are currently being used are in RAM. Logically, you can think RAM as a device having many locations to store data, like this. Now let's see what really happens when you declare a variable. When you do int number, some location in RAM is reserved or allocated for you. Let's say this location is reserved. Now you can refer and use this location through the name number. Now let's say you enter 5. Generally you say 5 is stored in variable number. But what's really happening is 5 is being stored in location to which earlier we have given name number. So 5 is actually stored here. So when you say you are declaring a variable, a location is being reserved or allocated for you, and when you say you are placing or storing value in a variable, you are really placing or storing value in the location whose name is the name of the variable. An array is a collection of variables of the same type of data that are referred by a common name. What does it mean? Let's look at an example. To store one number, you need one location in memory. To reserve one location in memory, you do this, right? Remember, as explained earlier, locations being reserved are from RAM. To store 4 numbers, you need 4 locations. To reserve 4 locations, you do this. To store 100 numbers, you need 100 locations. For this, you could declare 100 variables individually like this. Well, you could do this, but it's really inefficient. There has to be some better way of reserving large number of locations. This is where the concept of array comes. You can declare 100 locations by just writing this. See, 100 locations are being reserved. How cool is that? Being able to reserve 100 locations in one go. Remember, you cannot put one type of data in one location and another type of data in another locations. In array, in all locations, you can only keep one type of data. For example, in our program, since we have written int, we can only place integer types of data. Okay, fine. You reserve 100 locations in one shot, but how do you refer and use individual locations? Remember, first location is referred not by num1 but by num0. You refer first locations by num0, second location by num1, and so forth. So if you want to put 33 in 4th locations, what do you write? You write this. It's important to understand when you declare array, this number is size. But when you use individual element of array, this number is index or position. How do you refer last or 100th location in our example? By num 99. If you say num 100, in fact, you are trying to use locations which you didn't reserve. As we said earlier, an array feature makes it possible to reserve a large number of locations in memory at one go. However, the major advantage of an array comes from using it with a loop. Let's take an example to see how this is the case. This is a program without using array and loop. This is a program using array with loop. This is how we reserve location in memory without using an array. This is how we reserve using an array. This is how we get values from user. Not an efficient way. We are repeating the same codes again and again. You might think, oh well, let's use a loop. But look carefully, you can't use a loop here. Now look at the program too. See, we are able to use a loop. Because of this, we don't have to write same codes again and again. It has lessened our efforts and codes are very concise. This is how we add numbers without using an array and loop. Think how inefficient it would be if you had to add, say, 100 numbers. See how easily we can add numbers using array and loop. Whenever there is an array, in almost all cases, you would be and should be using an array. Let's look at loop and array in more detail. Some of you might be already comfortable with loop, but if you are not, please pay attention here. It's important that you understand this detail very clearly, because as I said earlier, when there is an array, in almost all cases you have to use loops. Let's look at the program. Because of this, location in memory will be reserved or allocated for you as shown in the diagram. Now I is equal to 0, while I less than 3 means 0 less than 3. Yes, 0 less than 3 condition is true. Computer enters inside loop. We are asked to enter number. Let's say we entered 10. We say 10 is in num I. Num I means num 0 in this case. So 10 is in num 0. But actually 10 is in location whose name is num 0 as shown in the diagram. The value of I increases to 1. This is loop, hence computer again comes back to this point. Now everything that has happened is going to repeat again. That's what loop is. While I less than 3 means 1 less than 3 this time. Yes, 1 less than 3 condition is true, computer enters inside loop. We are asked to enter number. Let's say we entered 10. We say 10 is in num I. Num I means num 1 in this case. So 10 is in num1, but actually 10 is in this location as shown in the diagram. The value of I increases to 2. This is loop. Computer again comes back to this point. Because this is loop, everything is going to repeat. This time I am not explaining each step, but just showing you these steps. This time when we say I less than 3, it means 3 less than 3. The condition is not true. So computer is not going to enter inside loop. Rather, it will come to outside of loop to this point. And operations which involves entire arrays are not permitted in C. For characters or string, there are library defined functions. Let's look at an example. This is giving initial values or initializing arrays. Look at its syntax carefully. This is how we initialize arrays. People are often tempted to do this. This is not permitted in C. You have to do operation in an element by element basis. So this is not permitted. So performing operation in an element by element basis. This is okay, but you could shorten things. You can do these things more quickly, well, if you use loops. So it's much better. How's today's video? Please leave your comments and suggestions below. I would be posting videos like this on various programming topics. So please do consider subscribing to my channel. Also, please don't forget to hit like buttons and share this video. So this was for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in next one.